And they showed her this, which they said was a warrant for her husband, David Garcia. But she says her husband's name is Jorge. All the while, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was watching from the street.
Trump's war against hard-working immigrants has gotten more and more out of hand after the Home Depot raid in LA set off a week of protests all across the nation. But since undocumented immigrants are actually less likely to be criminals than native-born citizens, they've quickly run out of murderers and thieves to round up, and have started coming after day laborers and farmers and folks who have made administrative errors, or maybe who have done nothing wrong at all and are just stuck on one of the many steps in the legal process. Imagine you've been here for years, paid all the fees and taxes, and are even married to a US citizen, but instead of working with you to help get citizenship to the country, this is the monster they send after you. Ice Barbie and Tom Homan are treating this process like a reality TV show. Puppy killer Noem here has always longed for the limelight, so she's taking every opportunity to be out on the streets and watch immigrant families be ripped apart live. She's literally speed signing her name on documents without even reading them so she can get back out there and get into her little costumes. Hell, even Dr. Phil is attending these raids so he can interview Tom Holman and praise the ICE agents for all doing great work and ripping apart hardworking families. And make no mistake, that's exactly what's going on. Being undocumented in this country is an administrative civil offense. It's less severe than jaywalking. Over the last nearly 20 years, almost 70% of undocumented immigrants have overstayed their visas, which means they didn't cross the border illegally, which is the criminal offense here. Overstaying your visa is a civil offense. There is absolutely no reason to be raiding people's homes like this, armed to the teeth, full of riot gear like they're cartel members. But doing so makes the average Republican and centrist dino Democrat think, well, these must be dangerous immigrants. I mean, look at Kristi Noem there in a bulletproof vest. Join us here at Really American by subscribing and dropping a blue heart if this is the kind of coverage you like to see.
I was just terrified. I'm not going to lie to you.
Sabrina Medina's home here in Huntington Park was raided early this morning by ICE.
I was shaking. I was scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I have never gone through this.
It all unfolded about 6. Half a dozen vehicles with heavily armed officers rolled up and came to her door.
Look out to the window and you just see like 10 men with rifles, and I'm like, whoa, like, am I dreaming or is this real?
Sabrina's brother-in-law, Armando, was the first in the home to encounter the agents.
I was in shock, like, especially for the kids.
The officers told Sabrina to take her 4 young children out to the driveway, and they showed her this, which they said was a warrant for her husband, David Garcia. But she says her husband's name is Jorge, and he wasn't there. As one agent turned an outside camera away, inside cameras showed the officers moving through the house, room by room. All the while, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was watching from the street. She would later refer to the ICE raids at a news conference.
Some operations that have been working to bring in criminals that have been out on our streets for far too long.
Supervisor Janice Hahn spoke with Sabrina's neighbors about this morning's raid.
I'm very disappointed in this government right now and what they're doing.
For Sabrina Medina, who was born here and is expecting her 5th child, the future is bleak if her husband is deported.
I'm not going to be able to pay my rent when I got to pay it. I'm not going to be able to pay my light, my gas. My husband's not here. I don't know if they're going to pick him up tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. It's sad.
Clearing the other side of the house.
Eventually, the ICE agents left Sabrina's home empty-handed, and the kids were allowed to go back inside, back to their bedrooms, unsure what the coming days will bring.
So HHS and ICE show up with guns drawn to intimidate a pregnant mother of 4 who's a US citizen so that Kristi Noem can get her little photo shoot. And then they execute a warrant with the wrong person's name on it. I mean, that alone should make this whole warrant completely null and void. And on top of that, whether or not this woman's husband is undocumented or not, clearly they aren't criminals. He's a hard-working father who's trying to provide for his family. And getting picked up by ICE is even worse than getting picked up by the regular cops these days. Even though immigration is supposed to be a civil process, here's another case of a newlywed couple where the wife was detained and disappeared for 4 months after returning back from their honeymoon.
For a woman whose job it is to make weddings picture perfect, it's no surprise Ward Sikik's was too.
That was the first look.
But what happened after she and Tahir Sheikh said I do was not the dream they hoped to build.
She hasn't even gotten a chance to see her wedding album.
He says on the way home to Dallas from their honeymoon in the U.S. Virgin Islands and American territory, immigration agents detained her. That was 4 months ago.
Why do I deserve to keep going on with my life when I see what my wife is going through for 120 days?
Sikik's legal status is complicated. Her husband says her family brought her to the United States when she was 8 years old. He says they applied for asylum. A judge signed a removal order, but later authorities gave her permission to work here. He says she was born in Saudi Arabia, but that country doesn't automatically give you citizenship by birth. Her family is Palestinian, but she doesn't have legal status there either.
She's stateless. She doesn't hold citizenship in any part of this world.
But not homeless. Sheikh says she's built a life here, attended UT Arlington, created a wedding photography business, and fell in love.
That was me behind the camera and my diamond in front of me.
A spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security didn't respond to a request for comment. Sheikh says he's been told his wife could be deported to another country, he doesn't know where, as soon as tonight.
I want to see the woman who became a model citizen with the opportunities that she was afforded be given her chance to become an American on paper.
And hopes these wedding pictures together won't be their last.
Now, you might see or hear people say that this is what they voted for, that polling shows immigration is Trump's strongest policy. And that's true, but only because Republicans, overwhelmingly, like in the 90+% range, love what's happening right now, whereas Democrats and independents do not. So don't let the narrative shift around you that these ICE protests are unpopular and that they're just for nothing. These are members of the community that have always been here, and it's the administrative state that's failing to process folks through the legal immigration system, and then turning around and punishing those people for the state's own failures. If you're one of the 13% of Democrats who supports Trump's mass deportation efforts, then you are supporting a broken system that selectively enforces its own laws based on the color of a person's skin or the nationality of their ancestors. Do not let the Democrats defend this sort of behavior. These protests aren't just about stopping ICE from brutalizing innocent immigrants. It's also about calling out ineffective politicians who refuse to fix what should be a robust and effective immigration process. And to MAGA, well, I'm going to let this pissed off granny let them know what I think.
Okay, you MAGA maggots. What are you gonna do when he comes for you?